It's Jam TV, show 175. Bill Loman.
Wow. For those people who wonder where the Venmo money goes to, it goes right into animatronics. It's unbelievable.
Exactly. It's the truth.
It was incredibly lifelike.
My lifelike parrot. He says anything that I want.
Was he saying something actually? Literally?
Yes, he was, Bill Loman. I'm having too much fun.
Yeah.
How's it going?
Good. You know? No, little winter. No.
Last time I saw you was on a week ago. Dave Robinson and AJ and his wife and Dave's family members and and others at the Magic 5 Pie Company in Norwalk playing. That was fun. We did remote on GMTV. It was good to see you.
That was a lot of fun because normally there aren't many familiar faces in the crowd. Even at Magic 5, it's great to see people. Great to see Dave. Great to see his brother. Great to see AJ's wife. All the above. You. Okay. Some other friend came.
Absolutely, it was great. It was great to hear you play the whole time, and we appreciate that you did not take a break. You just kept it going.
Yeah, I don't know.
We're too close together. It's like, hello, Bill. We're dancing cheek to cheek.
This is what.
I'm just going to do this.
That's where the Partridge Family went wrong when they broke down the walls between the characters, and suddenly Bob sleeping with his mom, and that kind of thing.
It's true. Oh my God! And now I got to show that.
Did not happen in real life.
Oh my God! Look who it is, Dave Robinson.
Hello,
Dave Robinson from the East Coast.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, turn your volume down a little bit. You're echoing. But it's good to see you. Where are you, Dave Robinson?
I'm in Stamford, Connecticut.
Wow.
Is that better?
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. It's better with headphones, but we hear a little echo going on.
Now, do I make an echo when I'm hearing Dave's echo a lot, but do I normally make an echo?
Yeah, I'll call Dave during the break. We'll fix this. It won't be a problem. So
it's just like that sports radio. What if they traded Gretzky for things and then
the Super Bowl was taken by me? I don't even know who played in the Super Bowl.
That's what they're saying.
All right, I'm going to mute you, Dave Robinson. Then I'm going to call you during the break. We're going to figure this out. So Bill, why don't you do a song and I'll figure Dave Robinson's audio out.
I'm going to do a song. There were a bunch of songs that I had prepared for recent stuff, and I never really played them, but I sort of like them anyway. This is the Laura Nero song.
Oh my God, this is going to be one of those shows because you, Bill Nolan, are like echoing in an odd way, like you're doing this Max Headroomy thing.
I normally echo.
You go, I am going to, and that it's very like robotic.
Like the luckiest man in the world.
Can you see that? Can you hear that too, Dave Robinson? Nod.
So strange, guys.
Say it again, Dave Robinson.
Yeah, this is very strange.
Echo?
All right, Norman, give it a try, and then we'll log you off and back in, and we'll figure you out too. But give it a try.
Do I normally echo that way?
No, it's some sort of weird video issue. But why don't you play a song, and we'll see where that ends up.
Are going to be like echoing the song?
We'll find out.
Is it echoing?
No, you're okay.
I'm not scared dying in. Wait a minute. I know what the problem is. I don't have a cape on. No, that's not the problem, but I'm just putting on. Not scared of dying, and I don't really care if it's peace you find dying. Well, then let the time be new. Peace you find in dying. Time is here. Bundle my coffin, 'cause it's cold way down here, don't you know? Cold way down here, yeah. Crazy cold way down here. And when I die, and when I'm gone, there'll be one I've born in the world to carry on, to carry on. Troubles are many, they're as deep as a well. I can swear ain't no heaven, but I pray there ain't no hell. Swear there ain't heaven, pray there ain't no hell. But I'll never go by living, only my dying tell, only my dying will tell, yeah. Only my dying will tell. And when I die, and when I'm not, there'll be one out born in the world to carry on, to carry on. Give me my freedom for as long as he. All I ask of him is to have no chains on me. All I ask of living is to have no chains on me. And all I ask of dying is to go naturally, go naturally. Say, don't wanna go by the devil, don't wanna go by the demon, don't wanna go by Satan, don't wanna die easy, just let me go naturally. And when I die, and when I'm dead and gone, there'll be one shot born in the world to carry on, to carry on.
Testing 1, 2.
Oh my God, it's a disaster.
That not work.
Yeah, you got to log out and log back in. There's something going on with your StreamYard. So I'm going to play a video.
Testing 1, 2. Check 1, 2.
Dave, go read my note that I
Testing
sent you
1, 2.
in Messenger, Dave Robinson. And I'm going to play a video. We're going to hopefully get this sorted out.
Testing 1, 2. Check. Can you hear?
We're driving on that Hollywood on the wheel. There's a voice in my head that drives my heel. It's my baby calling, says I need you here. It's a 4:30, I'm shifting gear. When she gets lonely and the morning gets too much, she sends a cable coming in from above. You don't need a phone at all. We got a thing that's called red alert. We got a wave in the air. Red alert. Radio plays a forgotten song. Red leaves coming on strong. Rose got me hypnotized, and it's feeding to a new sunrise. When I get lonely and sure I've had enough, she says comfort coming in from above. You don't need to do it all. great our Lord.
It's a day of gremlins. Hey, Randy Stone.
Hey, man.
Phil Noman's fixed. Dave Robinson, how you doing?
I don't know. Can you hear me?
Oh. Yeah, you need to go. I'm going to drop you off right now, and you need to go and read your AOL, your AOL Messenger. You need to go read your Facebook Messenger. I told you how to fix it. Go read it. Oh my God, it's been a show of gremlins. Bill Noman, how you doing?
Well, I was doing better, I think, before I just played a whole song that didn't come out.
I heard a little bit of that was Laura Nero via Blood, Sweat, and Tears, right?
Well, it was Laura Nero. Blood, Sweat, and Tears are irrelevant to that song. I mean, they had it's a well-known version of it, but that's her.
Yeah.
She hit like
Just trying to do proper attribution. That's all.
she had a major hot streak of people covering songs. Obviously, Stone Soul Picnic with Fifth Dimension, and Barbra Streisand.
I was just going to say that's probably easily my favorite Barbra Streisand song. I kind of don't have many, talented though she is.
What is it?
But her cover of Stony End is really good.
Yeah. Well, Laura Nero was, I really like her a lot, and she was sort of strange. I just finished reading a book about it. It was sort of strange life, and it was a good book actually. But at one point that my friend DeVivino was the musical director, which was interesting, and he had interesting things to say about playing with her. And what do you?
Right, it's too funny, Bill Noman.
It is. Am I doing it too?
No, you're not doing it at all. So,
And
Bill,
you're not doing it either. But
unfortunately, Bill Noman, you're going to have to reboot your computer
My
because
computer.
there's something going on. And
as you're saying, Bill, Noman,
yeah,
or
it's
Laura
like,
Nero.
Greatest man in the world.
This is like Goodfellas. Johnny 2 times. I'm going to get the papers.
very, very strange stutter going on in the world.
Me rebooting the whole thing is a bummer, but I'll do it.
Yeah, I think you're gonna have to do the bummer because that's what's happening.
Well, we'll see.
All right, so we're gonna get this show going at some point. I'm gonna play another video, and hopefully this is gonna work. Let's try it.
It's a bummer.
Every time
That was an oldie but goodie.
Yeah, I remember that.
All right, David Robinson, let's see what we got going for you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh my God, it's a miracle.
And
Well,
only one of you.
I don't know if it's a miracle. Let me tell you what I did. I was using
Yeah.
my brother. I was using my brother's TV set as a
Yeah.
monitor.
Yeah, you can't do that.
As a
Yeah, but the
monitor.
same shit was happening to Bill. So.
No, it was different shit. Different
Oh,
shit.
okay. Oh, okay.
Different shit, same day. Yeah,
Gotcha.
no, Bill and I did a little sound check before the show, and it was fine. And then Bill came on the air, and he was like Porky Pig all of a sudden. He was like, and I.
Yeah.
What's happening, Randy Stone? What's going on with you?
How are you, man? I'm okay. Yeah, overall fine. Some mostly good stuff. A few little health shit to chase down, but I'm fine.
Yeah, that's all it is. Health shit.
I know. I'm like an old jalopy that's in the shop all the time, and he put me up on the lifts and do whatever.
I know I'm the kid on the show, but
Yeah.
I'm turning 60 in
Yeah.
that many weeks.
It's
right?
getting to be a rounding error, my friend. Yeah.
Yeah, I got my 60, but I'm not actually that worried about it. I
Who
might be
cares?
freaked
Oh,
out.
please.
Yeah, well, no, 30 was a big deal for me. 30 was like 30. Like 20 didn't do anything. 20, it's like, whatever. Still not old enough to drink. It's still not. But 30 was like, oh God, it's been 10 years.
Really?
Now I'm like, it's over. I'm 30. 40, 50 was no big deal. 60, I don't know. 60, when we were kids, like Grandpa was 58.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Like 60 was like 60 was what 80 is today. You turn
Yeah.
80 and you're like, that's it. You're just in borrowed time, but today it's like no big deal, but I don't
Yeah.
know.
60 didn't bother me. I have a feeling 70 is going to bother me, but what the fuck? You know what? Happy to be here.
Oh, you're not 70?
Yeah, aren't you charming? Yes.
No, I'm playing. You have a gig guaranteed. I know it, but on March 1st, my birthday is March 2nd. So technically, gig-wise, it's
Yeah.
March 1st, midnight. It ticks over, right?
Oh, yeah.
And so March 1st, I'm a special ed guest with Cooked Up at
Oh, cool.
at the old Monster Bees, Big Bees,
Oh,
Monster
yeah.
Bees, Club London, Tawa now.
How? I wish you the best. I had a gig scheduled. Todd, their bass player, never misses a gig.
Yeah, right.
But Todd was having knee surgery. Ironic that they would ask me, the guy with no knees, to fill in for Todd while he's having knee surgery.
Are you on the gig?
I was on the gig, and they have a
You got
list,
fired.
and I know half of the list cold, like no worries. The other half of the list I don't know cold, and they're not straightforward songs. What's the one? There's a Joe Jackson song. Anything Joe Jackson is not
Yeah,
going to
right.
be straightforward, right?
Right, exactly.
Any Joe Jackson. I throw a dart at his song list, and it's going to be. You got to learn this. I put the time in, man. I put the fucking time. Cancel because of snow.
No
Motherfucker.
way.
Motherfucker. I learned all these
No.
fucking songs.
Right.
And they're cool. I mean, I'm glad to have learned the songs, but of course, I never played them out, so I'll forget them in no time.
So come to the gig on the
I should.
1st
Yeah,
and play the songs.
I should. Yeah, except it's Todd's gig, but it'll be fun to show up and do a song or two.
That's sit in. You can do the Joe Jackson song.
Yeah, it's the hardest one, I think. You know the one I mean? What's it called?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I don't remember. I don't
I'll
know
look
any
it
of
up
the names
later.
of anything. But yeah, you've been playing a lot. I almost came to your gig Saturday night with Holly.
Somebody did.
Yo, Dave. I know Dave Robinson did.
It was good to see. I couldn't believe it. I have my back. I'm setting up. I got my back turned to the crowd,
Yes.
and I hear some dude behind me going, "Hey, can I play your bass?"
Exactly.
And I'm like, "Oh, motherfucker!" It's Dave, and he had the beard off. So I'm like, I froze for a second. And he goes, "Do you know who this is?" I'm like, "I absolutely know who you are." Yes.
I
Randy,
hate
love
that,
you.
you know?
Love you, Randy.
Speaking of, there's Dennis. Speaking of bass players, there's Dennis.
Hey,
Love
And
you.
I
by the
have
way,
too many
speaking
good
of a
players.
guy who I sat with at the bar at the Duck before a
right.
gig, and
yep.
we covered a lot of history.
There you
Hey,
go.
Yes, we did. It was fun.
Yeah,
It
I
sounded great.
almost made that gig. I had an interesting day myself. So I had lunch with an old friend of mine I've known for 30 years, and then I had a dinner party. Like, I don't go to dinner parties, but I had like a dinner party at somebody's house.
Did you wear a
And
dinner jacket?
The somebody I haven't seen in 40 years, and we were introduced by more like 50 years. By my childhood friend from the age of 5. So I've known her 55 years, Wendy. And Wendy was the girl next door, but there were 9 of them, right? 9 daughters, no sons. So I was
wow.
I was the little brother in the family.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it worked out that way.
Oh, could have been cool.
Yeah. So I had that going on, and it was just too much fun, and I couldn't make it down.
Oh, that's great.
Even though I was going to go there. There he is, Bill Nolan.
Yep.
How's it going?
What the fuck?
Say testing.
Can you hear me?
Oh my God, it's fixed. The show is fixed. We're saved.
But so this wasn't when we first talked, like at the very beginning. Was I echoing them?
No.
Yes.
It was just a gremlin, but whatever.
Jesus Christ.
Whatever.
It wasn't even an echo, is what Ed said. It was like a one-word stutter.
It was
one word, stutter.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
It was something. It was a driver in your 1972 Mac,
Thank you. It's 2008. Thank you.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'll have you know, right?
No, but I have two Macs here, and one is functional, but I just can't stop using the other one. But actually,
that's what happens.
We've had luck. We've had a lot of luck the past 25 shows, sort of.
There you go.
No, but we haven't had a lot of glitches. It used to be like it was an adventure whether it was ever going to work.
I was reliving it. We had the one for Dave Robinson. Are you even still with us, Dave Robinson?
I am still with you.
Oh my God, it's amazing.
My favorite was, and this happened all the time with Ray. We turned it into a drinking game. Remember that?
Right.
We all had to take a drink whenever Ray froze.
Right. Exactly. I had
I come prepared. I just brought the bottle.
Just in case, Dennis. Yeah.
We all did. It was the pandemic, and I was drinking tequila during the pandemic.
Yeah, no, but it happened to Ray invariably. He would just
Yeah,
exactly.
all the time.
You do that well.
Thank you.
You imitate freezing Ray very well.
I imitate a stroke victim.
That's always like some of the best impressions are ones that very few people will get, but they're brilliant. But they
right.
I used to imitate my clients.
Yeah, no,
very esoteric, but I could fool people with them. That was the thing.
And fellow employees, so too. They were like
totally, absolutely.
My best partner. There's this one guy who. We had an office. The Christmas party was at the Friars Club. On 42nd Street.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah, right.
And the account guy. The thing is over, and my partner and I. We were funny guys, but the guy comes out and he's talking to us because we had just gone to the agency. And, we were being positioned as like, these are the guys who are going to take us to the next thing. And then they didn't allow us to anyway. And I got fired. So it didn't really matter. But while the guy is talking to us, he's going like, you guys are going to do this. And he's standing there next to his secretary. He's got his hand on her ass and he's just doing like a scrungy ball kind of thing on her. And he's like, you guys are going to do this. And he's totally in the bag. And he ends it with like, this meeting never happened. That's what he says.
Yeah. You didn't see anything.
And like forever, like our main thing is like whatever happened in the agency, we just go like, this meeting never happened.
Yeah, and the secretary's lawyer said, Your Honor, the meeting did in fact happen, and here we go.
In this particular period of time, I can't say that was something that was likely going to happen.
It wasn't actionable
back in the day, you could grab a secretary's butt and not get dragged into court. Yeah.
In the job description.
And the work was better. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying there's any correlation. I'm just saying the work was better,
Not to make fun of this, but was there even HR back then? Like,
no,
there was when
there was personnel.
Personnel.
The head of personnel.
But
which was basically, here's your insurance forms.
Yeah, but they didn't handle like you did this to that person and you said this word. There was none of that. Like now,
it probably wasn't until the late '80s maybe that you even had that orientation thing, because there came a time where you had that orientation thing. And,
Oh yeah.
you know,
I never
was-
had any orientation.
Oh,
Well,
I
I
had
was-
to do it. I had to show that I was doing it, and we all had to go through it. And it all boiled down to one thing: if you wouldn't say it in front of like a 6-year-old girl, then you can't say it at work.
Well,
the-
I did have that orientation. So when I started teaching kids at Bridgeport, right, when I
Yeah,
started teaching
yeah.
music, they FBI background check with fingerprints, and then there was a sensitivity training thing, and they were like, "You do this, you go to prison. You do this, prison. You do," and I'm like, "Okay." I thought I was just teaching music.
Well, I was when I was working at a place called Colangelo in Darien, you know, and it was a marketing place, and my account was Trojan. So I'm sitting there getting the speech from the people, and I raise my hand and I say like, penis, vagina. These are, you know, it's like being able to say mouth if I have Frosted Flakes as a client, you know. It's like I can't really get around this. This is the way it is. It's prophylactics. There's only one.
You
reason
can
to
talk
have
about the actual Trojans in fighting the Greeks, but that's where you have to stop.
That's different. Yeah.
It's not like they didn't fool around either, you know.
Because Trojan had some fucking funny ads. Did you make those? Did you make those ads with Trojan? Did you do
You know,
that?
honestly, when I was working on Trojan, they had like a 75% market share, and the funny ads were being made by other people who were just trying to, you know, make a splash. With us, anybody that did okay, if they're just going out to buy a condom for Trojan, there was a 75% chance they're going to buy your condom,
Right.
you know, no matter how funny the Durex ad
Based
was.
on distribution alone. Yeah.
Yeah, it was just, you know, facings and that kind of thing. You go
I'm
out
just
and
proud of you that you know Durex as a brand.
Basically, yeah. I mean,
I've never heard of that.
you were in the machine. So back in my day, there was no. I used to tell my sons this. There was no 24-hour CVS. If the moment was striking you, there was only two places to go, and one was a diner in Norwalk, in the men's room, and had a vending machine.
Where? What diner? What diner was it?
I don't think it's there anymore, Ed. It was just over the Westport line. If you're heading into Norwalk on the right-hand side,
Okay.
before Stu Leonard's.
Okay.
I mean, from what
I know
people
that
told,
diner.
from what
Oh,
people
yeah.
told me, and yes, I remember having to race there with "I'll be right back." Oh God, do I have quarters? I need some fucking quarters. Yeah, and yep. And
Oh wait, I thought that was a balloon dispenser.
yeah,
it might as well have been for the
Yeah, I know.
latex, you know.
they said I like Ike on them. Yeah, they were not fresh.
I can dick right through.
Yeah,
My
Ike and
father,
Dick.
I found a box of balloons in my father's medicine cabinet, and I blew them all up and let
Oh,
my
boy.
mother find them. And then they were like, "Oh, you won't go in there again." I was about six.
I once found my mother's diaphragm. I didn't really know what it was, but I looked at this. I'm staring at this thing. I'm going like, what is my father's dick like that it is in this? Like, what the hell? You know,
Really? Yeah.
it's like an eighth of an inch long and like 4 inches across. Like, what the hell?
No, geez,
But
Dad.
he's your hero when you're six. He's your hero now, right?
I wasn't,
Bill, you're like, I guess it skips a generation. I don't know.
you know.
I'm reporting both you guys to HR. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, good luck with that.
We're done tonight. My God. So Bill, let's try a song. How about that?
I kind of feel like playing the one that got fucked up.
Do
Yeah,
that.
But is that wrong? Is that wrong? Should I?
But imitate the echoes. Imitate them.
Well, I didn't hear them, so that's going to be difficult, you know. I have higher end shit on my end. I don't know what you do out here in the bush. you know.
All right, go for
Fancy
it.
schmancy.
So anyway, I'm going to play this one again. I'm not scared of dying, and I don't really care. Peace you find in dying, when then let the time to be near. Peace you find in dying, dying time is here. Just bundle up my coffin, 'cause it's cold way down there. Yes, it's cold way down there. Oh, way down, cold way down there. And when I die, and when I'm gone, there'll be one child born in a world to carry on, carry on. The troubles are many, they're as deep as a well. Can swear there ain't no heaven, but I pray there ain't no hell. Swear there ain't no heaven, pray there ain't no hell. But I'll never know by living, only my dying will tell. Only my dying will tell. Oh, only my dying will tell. And when I die, and when I'm gone, there'll be one child born in a world to carry on, to carry on. Give me my freedom for as long as I be. All I ask of living is to have no chains on me. All I ask of living is to have no chains on me. And all I ask of dying is to go naturally. Just wanna go naturally. Say, don't wanna go by the devil. Don't wanna go by Satan. Don't wanna go by demon. Don't wanna die uneasy. Just let me go naturally. And when I die, and when I'm dead, dead and gone, there'll be one word left in the world to carry on, to carry on. Figures, the one nobody could hear was perfect.
Yeah.
That was good.
No, I love that. And you know what? The first time you played, I'm so glad you did that again, because the first time you played it, I was focused on technical issues and I wasn't really listening to the words.
Yeah.
And that's a great tune. What's the story behind that tune? Is that a gospel tune?
Well, you know, she had a lot of, you know, she had a lot of reference to the demons and devils
Yeah.
and that kind of stuff. And it was very, you know, like Save the Country. She had a lot of songs that had a very gospel feel to them, you know. And you know, she was an interesting. I worked one concert of hers when I was in Denver. I was working for a sound company,
Right.
and she came there and she had a band at one point with Patti LaBelle, and it was a group called LaBelle, and it's Patti LaBelle, Nona Hendricks, and Sarah Dash.
Right.
And it was like she did an album called "Gonna Take a Miracle," which was produced down in Philly at Sigma Sound, and it was Gamble and Huff produced it, who are like the great producers from Philly, and it was a bunch of covers of, you know, some great R&B songs. And those three women as your background group, it's like, wow, you know, like that. You talk about going to church. And I saw that tour there, and LaBelle was very friendly. Linda, not as much, but I think she, you know, she was carrying a bigger load than they were. They were just having fun, you know.
But that's super cool. Did they do it on the record? Did they do it as jolly as you do it?
You know, she was very ethereal. You know, she was, you know, she
Yeah.
had like this interesting soprano, and it was kind of, you know, a lot of stuff she did was kind of spooky-ish. You know, Blood, Sweat, and Tears did it in a very you know, they did an interesting arrangement of it. You know, it was kind of almost a Western thing. I think they
I
had
guess that's the version
Oh.
that I've heard now that you mentioned that,
they had
because I was
that
like, I
kind of
haven't
thing
heard
going
that.
on.
And I'm like,
No,
when
no,
you
it
said-
was very kind of Aaron Copland kind of, yeah.
I was just gonna say exactly like I don't know about you, but like I was talking to my friend Eddie Wright up in Maine today, and it's like Aaron Copland, you know, again, there were these albums that were at my house, and I don't know who bought them, but a couple of them became like some of the most influential albums of my life. And one of them was Peer Gynt Suite by Edvard Grieg.
Mm.
And the other one was I guess it was
Athlete.
Appalachian Spring by Aaron Copland.
Yeah.
And they also had Victory at Sea. Richard Rogers wrote the music for Victory at Sea, which was a TV series about
Yeah.
World War II, and really good music for it. But it's like, I'm trying to think, okay, I know the four other people in my family. I'm just going like, my father, no. My mother, can't see it. Like my older sister, I don't get it. My middle sister, no. Like, who bought these albums, you know? But I mean, I know who bought the Kingston Trio ones and the Peter, Paul, and Mary and the Everly Brothers. I know who bought those. But it was like, who the fuck bought, you know, Peer Gynt Suite by Edvard Grieg, which is one of my favorite pieces of music.
Yeah, no, it's great.
Could have
'Cause
been your
nobody
dad.
does-
Your dad might surprise you. You know.
You know, he liked Dixieland, which was
No,
funny.
my parents bought Broadway show tune albums. So,
Yep.
you know, Carousel, Hello Dolly,
Sure.
My Fair Lady, blah, 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 blah.
I had all those. Yeah.
Except my dad and my brother and I loved this. We wrecked this album so much. Alan Sherman's My Son, the Folk Singer.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, funniest fucking thing. By the way, say hi to Ed Harrison. He's
Hey,
watching. He just scolded me because he said I'm not looking at the comments on Facebook because I don't watch this on Facebook. Anyway,
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Hey, Ed Harrison, how you doing?
My Zelda, my
yes,
Zelda,
guys,
my Zelda, she took the money and ran with the tailor.
tailor.
That tailor, he really hurt my pride. He made my lapel an inch too wide. My Zelda, she took the money and run with the tailor. Everybody, and then it's like you're like a little Gentile. I'm like a little Gentile in
Oh,
Riverside, Connecticut.
speaking of Gentile,
And-
shake hands with your Uncle Max, my boy. You know, whatever it is, Irowitz, Flyerwitz, Ranowitz, Winwitz, Levin, Novinsky, Levine, and Levine, Humberger,
I don't
Schlumberger,
even know
Rumberger,
what
Rumberger.
you
Yeah,
said.
like
What's happening?
But it's like he does in my Zelda, and I guess this was live up in the mountains somewhere.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
Broken
yeah,
Hills or
yeah.
something. But he does it live, and it's like this just shows you that humor is humor, and like you don't even have to know what the context is, which I always found to be true in Rocky and Bullwinkle because that was not written for children. There were references that were
Yeah,
big.
yeah, yeah.
But at one point he's doing like, my Zelda, she took the money and ran with the tailor. Ladies of Hadassah. He like
Yeah,
says
that's
that. And like the crowd goes nuts. You're like, and you just sit there. I don't even know what that fucking
no,
means.
you wanted to be there. You know, you could tell it was a party going on, and like,
And you knew that was funny.
Right.
Like whatever it was, you knew it was just from the reaction. Ladies of Hadassah.
That's,
I gotta
that's
bring that
pretty
into my
funny.
act at Magic 5. I think that would be good.
Was he maybe saying Odessa?
No.
no, ladies of Hadassah, yeah.
Ladies of Hadassah. It's it's
I
like,
gotta
a,
look
it's
it
like the Daughters of the American Revolution, except that by way of Israel.
Right. Wow,
Yeah, that
that's amazing.
that was a
That's
great. How about you must have had the First Family, maybe? Did you have that?
Oh,
Meter?
Vaughn Meter.
Yep. How about Shelley Berman? I always thought Shelley Berman was kind of cool.
I can't remember. I mean, remember the guy. I remember him on like Ed Sullivan or something.
Yeah, he was another one of these guys, sitting on a stool, the Dark Album cover with a spot on it. He's sitting on this. He might have had a drink in his hand. I don't know. And it was all, he was a little closer. He was closer to like Lenny Bruce than he was to like, Bill Cosby at the time or something like that. Even
So
Cosby.
those are cool records. My dad didn't get those records. I did not have that. I did not have older sisters, and I did not get exposed to that. But I gotta go listen to that on Spotify tonight.
Well, and
Actually,
again,
My Son, the Folk Singer, You'll Die. It's
The best.
To Bill's point, I think it would still hold up.
well, I mean, even, and they say that we'll have fun if it starts raining. It's like that's like in the vernacular.
Oh, well,
of
that,
life.
yeah.
Let's-
Hello, mother. Hello, father.
Hello,
Yeah.
mother, hello, father. Here I am at Camp Granada.
Helen
It is
Sherman,
very
My Son, the
entertaining,
Folk
and they say
Singer.
that we'll have fun if it stops raining.
This is a very highbrow episode of Jam TV. I have to say.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is,
My
Yes.
God.
This is culture, kids. This is when culture was not push button. You actually
Right.
had to put a hand on a stylus and put it on a
That's
record.
right.
Yes,
And
somebody
we would
has to make
sit
that-
and listen to the record with
And we were
no
the remote.
digital nothing.
I got
we
so
remote had to
yelled
walk up
at
and
by
do it.
my dad for the like how I put the stylus down on
Oh
the
yeah,
record.
yeah. Me
You know,
too.
we had an automatic record player, and he's like,
Oh,
"Don't
yeah.
you ever touch the stylus ever?" Like there was no lift handle. What did you listen to, Dennis?
I was just trying to think about that. Mostly a lot of older country. And,
Older country,
Herb
yeah.
Albert and the Tijuana Brass.
Oh hell yeah.
Yeah.
Herb Albert,
was
yes,
awesome.
that's true. And we had a lot of Andy Williams. We had Perry
Yeah. We had some of
Como.
those.
And
Trying to
then my
picture
parents
this records.
actually bought me Beatles records. So I was born in
Ooh.
'64.
Progressive
And so-
parents. Yeah.
Well,
parents
so
stopped at Elvis.
some number of years later, Beatles were already pretty. My mother would insult me by saying, you need a haircut. You look like a Beatle, right?
Wow.
Because I had
Which
my
is
hair
like the
was-
biggest badge of
thanks.
honor you can
because my
get.
hair was as long as it is now. You know what I mean? Right?
They
But,
had because the anniversary of the appearance on Sullivan was this
Mhm.
week, or last month actually, and it's funny when you look at it, you're just like, how could you look at them and think like they were bad kids. Like I get it with the Stones, like
Yeah.
the Stones, because the Stones weren't really attractive, but you look
Right.
at these kids and, Ringo's interesting, but the rest of them are fairly decent looking guys,
The Stones were threatening.
Yeah, I was just going to use that
Yeah.
word. They were threatening. Like you watch the
And the scary ones, not all of them, but the lead singer, Eric Burden of the Animals.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like that, he he looked like he would take out a knife and cut you.
Yeah.
And
Jim
what is it
Morrison.
about that? Everybody goes for that, that bad boy thing. But the Beatles, you watch what movie? I got bad memory for names, but the movies that they made. There was one movie. Was it?
Well, they only made two, so
They made some movies, and one of the movies, like they were kind of threatening too. They were like down with authority. They were in the movie. It's funny today, but it wasn't funny back then to the older
I don't know about that.
generation.
I mean, like they,
Monkeys
like
were all over it.
the first one, Hard Day's Night, was really that was
Help.
about Beatlemania, and they were just getting chased by fans through the whole
Right.
thing, more or less.
Right.
And then Help was
Help.
like this convoluted kind of story that involved like a ring and
Yeah,
But it was- Kylie playing
tax
Mozart,
dodge.
playing
It was a
Mozart
fucking
with a
tax
tiger, like, and to me too, Help. I liked Help more than Hard Day's Night. Most people think Hard Day's Night's a better movie, but
I think you're out of your mind.
to me, I like Help better, and I guess it's because I just like the songs better.
That
like
I agree. No, the songs are bad, but the movie itself it's horrible.
I don't
It's
know.
horrible.
I don't know.
I gotta watch him again now, but I remember watching one, and I remember like some guy who's probably 45 years old comes up to them, and they're like, "Shut up, old man," or they're giving him like a laugh, or they're on a train with some guy. And
That's
they're like,
Hard Day's Night.
That's hard.
That's Hard
Yeah,
Day's Night, and
it
they're like
was
giving him
Paul's
a hard
grandfather.
time, making fun of him, and it was kind of mean. And I was like,
I think you're reading into it, little sheltered boy
Maybe.
who didn't have any Beatle records.
that's it. That's it.
I think you're thinking like, Jesus Christ, these guys aren't half as friendly as Andy Williams is. What the
There you
fuck?
go.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
exactly. Sound of Music and
They
Andy
never
Williams.
got on the Grand Ole Opry.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know. Like I remember I was in, I don't know, 7th grade or something like that. And I listened to Kansas, the band Kansas,
Yeah.
and then the hard guitars would come in and I'd be like, I can't listen to this hard rock, not that song, but like every other song they do.
Yeah.
The guitars would start and I'd be like, oh, my little soul is being destroyed by Satan,
Well, you must have been happy when Guitar Hero came out because my son used to play. What was it? Carry On, My Wayward Son.
I had to
It was a big
learn
part
that for
to it.
I had to learn that for a gig. Talk about, it's 8 hours to learn that goddamn thing because it's got
Absolutely.
16 parts in it, and then 4 minutes later it's over. I'm like, Jesus, talk about a bad ROI on effort. Like,
Right. Or even worse, the person that told you to learn the song goes, yeah, we're not going to do that
I'm going to
today.
do that.
oh,
tonight.
yeah, that's
happens
never
a lot.
happened. Yeah,
That's when
always
you accidentally
happens.
smack him with the head of the guitar.
bingo. Yes, Dennis.
Sorry,
Or
man.
Or
people-
sometimes like, oh no, we're doing it. You told me to learn it. I learned the goddamn thing. We're gonna fucking do it.
A lot of female vocalists will do this. So like, I want to do this song and this song and this song and
Don't
this
get me
song. And then you're
started.
like, there's 9,000 changes in those
Don't
songs.
get
Like,
me started. Yep.
why?
Yep.
Why?
Yep.
They'll tell you, we want to learn this song. And then when you get there, that's a different key.
Right.
Oh.
Different key. Or,
It's open
they give you
tunings,
the
you know, you're
keys,
trying to
but
hit
it's
that.
not
Spoken
the
like a
right
true
key.
bass player. Yes.
But it depends. Like sometimes, obviously it's a bummer for basses, a big bummer for keyboard, bummer for everything. But like sometimes with guitar, it's like, it's supposed to be an E and it's in like A flat, and you're like,
Yeah.
whoa,
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
a big
Yeah, whoa,
fucking
right.
difference.
No, it's the same thing.
Well,
It's
that-
like, oh, all those little open string maneuvers I was going to rely on.
Right.
Fuck.
All the passing notes in there.
right. So,
Clearwater
E flat.
doesn't play in A flat. I'm sorry, they don't.
my God. So I'm doing this gig with Cooked Up on March 1st, right? And I get the set list. I said, send me a set list that has
Yes.
that has the keys written on it. And
Thank God.
literally 64% of the keys say original key. I'm like, I don't know what the original key is.
Original key.
Yeah, but then they change keys a lot.
Yeah.
Not that I would ever know live, but anyway.
Original
So
key we
I learned
found.
these songs that I'll never play again in keys that will never be called again. And
Right.
they're not bitches. It's not their fault. It snowed. That's why the gig was canceled. But
Right. No, it rotates around back to the female vocalist. It's written for a guy, and
Yeah.
he does it in E, and she says, "I
Yeah.
need it in this one."
And you
that
know,
one.
not all female vocalists are created equally either. You know,
That's
so
true.
Yeah.
some will do them in the correct key, and then others will not, and they'll do it in keys that I sit going like, God, I could sing that key. You know,
Well,
it's
you
like,
got to have some range to be able to pull out. I know people who have 5-octave ranges. Well, you got to be able to pull out. But some people, I think I have like a 4-note range. You know, like that much. It better be in the right friggin' key.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
you know, it's pretty tough if you're doing a song that's in a male voice and you have to do it in the original key. It's pretty rough.
Yeah.
At jams, that becomes a problem after a while. You know.
yeah.
Or somebody calls out an E flat and you just want to smack them.
I know. Like
E
really,
flat.
really.
All the bottom
E
end out
flat
of it.
is a great key for me. E flat, first of all, that's a great saxophone key. It's a fantastic saxophone key. B flat and E flat on a keyboard. B flat, E
That's
flat.
easy.
E flat is a delightful key on the keyboards because it's like kind of sort of C minor, but it's major.
It's-
You know,
Like-
Sucks on bass because it's half step down.
I know you just
Like if-
can't do it. Yeah.
You know, if you're playing
Without retuning.
a song in G, I can fake piano okay. Move it to
Yeah.
A flat, not a fucking chance. I
Or
can't-
C sharp
I
or
know.
C sharp. B or
C
C sharp on a keyboard, it's like, come on, you know, or you know,
Yeah,
F sharp,
yeah.
like, come on, you know,
I
what is
still
this?
don't.
You want
understand.
F and B flat and C. That's what you want.
Right, but keyboard player, I mean, guitar
I mean, for
players,
you, yeah.
they're like, oh, C sharp, oh, we love C sharp. Like, why? Why does that even exist? It shouldn't even be a thing.
And then there's the detune confusion where
Oh, love
these
that.
bands are really playing it like fingering like E on the fretboard. They just tune their strings down half a step.
We
Oh,
used to
Well,
always do that
yes.
because the singer would wear out after 3
Yeah.
nights.
That's absolutely right. And so, you know, I played a gig with a guy. I was playing with a band with Soul Daddy, and we did a gig at the Sugar Bar in New York, which is owned by half of Ashford and,
Valerie Simpson.
right, Ashford and Simpson
Oh.
fame. And the our bass player couldn't make it for some reason that night, and we're in New York, so it's like, are we going to call Randy Stone and be like, get your butt down to the Sugar Bar in New York, right?
It's called Ed Train's Left Hand. That's
Right, there you go. And so,
Wow,
but they
left
had a bass player, and he was
I
can't
prefer
remember his
right,
name,
but-
but he was a great guy. He was the bass player with Ashford and Simpson,
Oh, Jesus Christ.
and he
Okay.
lived like across the street. So,
Yeah.
so they called him up and come on, get down here. I see his face. I can't remember his name right now.
Was
And
it Francisco Centano?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Um,
And so this guy, he said, tell me the first note. He didn't say what key do you play in.
Yeah, the
What's-
opener. Yeah.
What's the first note? You
Yeah,
know what I
you
mean?
gotta
Because
hit
a lot of songs and guitar players are notorious for this, right? The song will start with like 2 strums of something completely different,
Yeah.
and then it goes into the key, and they'll go, "Oh, it's in F sharp," and you're like, "Oh," and then it goes
No,
F
it's-
sharp G, and then it's in C, and then you're like, "Wait, what? How? Where?"
Sometimes it is actually, you know, like taking all that into account, and
Yeah.
you know, if you've done this enough, you take all that into account. And a lot of times the singers really don't know what key they're singing in, you know.
Absolutely.
But a lot of times
A lot of
I'll
times.
sit there, I'll shed the thing, I'll sing, and I still can't quite say what key it's in. You know, it's
Yeah.
like it's hard to figure out what's the 1, what's the 4, what's the 5.
Right.
You know, it's like, you know, sometimes you just go by the 5 and you figure, okay, so it must be in this, but it, you know, and it's not just because it's like a relative minor or something. It's just weird, you know. Like,
Or that it
Dave's over here
modulates
getting
around.
bored.
Steely Dan
You know,
stuff
what's
too.
the key, right?
right.
What key is it in? That's what I want to know. But you know, he was right. He was like, "What's the first note?" Because if you're gonna, because bass players, you are
First land
right
note.
out there. You are the first note that happens is you.
Uh,
And if you blow the first note and start
Oh.
searching, it's a disaster. It's
well,
like,
what really throws me is so you don't know what the next key is that you're moving to
Hello.
or the next chord, but you have to lead into it. So you start leading and you have no idea where you're going.
Oh. I mean,
Just keep
Yes.
walking until you find something.
yeah, right.
I don't think of all the instruments, I don't think any instrument can ruin a song more efficiently than the bass.
Yep.
if we're off. I mean, we could just wreck a fucking song.
We can change.
Well, I mean, I was saying this the other night too. I can't remember who right now. I was saying it was a bass player, and don't hold me to this, so I'm going to say something really nice to bass players. I said the most important instrument in the band is the bass, and you're saying the corollary of that is that nobody cares, nobody listens to what you're doing, nobody knows that it's important. If you said to a normal person, non-musician, they'd be like, the drums, the singer, the guitar, the key, the saxophone, the harmonica. They'd be like, they don't even know there is a bass player, right?
But in the band, if you're in the band, for me, if you're in the band, it's bass and drum.
If Dennis and I want to ruin a song, we can ruin a fucking song.
Yeah, and it's even worse than that. You can
I've seen it. I know.
You could play all the right notes. You could play the exact right notes. They're just a little off. The little timing is not. The groove isn't there. The drummer's not under control. The whole thing is just like, why does this band suck so much? Right.
I've been doing some recording in the last couple of weeks for a project that Michael Mugridge is doing with some songs of his, and myself and Neil Curry, Tommy Naj, and a guy named George Miller on bass, and there are a bunch of songs that Michael had from his past. And I was so naive. I haven't really been in the studio since it was like razor blades and tape, Scotch tape.
That's how I used to do it. Yeah,
and it's like I'm just astounded. We're laying down. We've been doing vocals this week, a few days, and I'm just astounded by the capability to correct, the capability to
absolutely.
And it's, I guess for lack of a better term, it's auto-tuning in a way, but it's not auto-tuning for effect. It's auto-tuning just to get on pitch.
It's tuning. It's not like auto-tuning. It's tuning.
Well, even just one spot, if you hit a bad note, it's like digital spackle. Just
take that one that's right and drop it in.
A phrase that's clipped can be stretched.
Yeah.
A phrase, and it's like, I was so stupid. Like I didn't really know, I just hadn't been in the studio, and particularly on that side of the glass. I've been on the other side of the glass for commercial things, but the people generally that you were working with in those shoots, they didn't need any fucking auto tuning. They were like, they were like professionals. And
that's why you use them. But now, if the guitar player, if they've just got the feel of it, it feels nice, whatever. If they play a minor when it's supposed to be a major, I can literally go in, I can look at those notes of the different strings in an audio file and tune one. Or if a string is slightly flat, I can go in, I can see it, and I can retune the guitar after the fact.
Yeah, it's wild. And also the fact that you're just doing it on a friggin' laptop for the most part.
On an 11-year-old MacBook Air, that's what I use for all my audio stuff.
And the stuff that pops up on the large monitor, with all the fake dials and all this stuff, all the 3D, they've taken the time to make like a fake 3D facing of a panel, but it's really just, you could have done it with just sliders or whatever, but it's just like, I've been
what I have here is I've got my MacBook Air, I have my basic controls, but all of my tracking is done on and my plugins. I have a touchscreen monitor, a gigantic, so my regular screen's only 13-inch, but the other one is it's a, not a huge screen. It's like maybe 2 feet, 24-inch screen, but it's a touch screen. So I can reach over and I can move the sliders with my finger and I can move the knobs with my finger.
Right.
And, it's just great to work that way.
Yeah. No, it's mind blowing. It's.
People can send you. I was doing a commercial job this week, and the customer sent me a demo that they did voice and piano, and it was like recorded on an iPhone on voice memo. Like it was, it didn't sound that great, but I was able to run it through some AI software, separate the piano and the voice, and then start retuning them all. And then I created a better version and sent it back and said, now sing along with it now. And they sang along and it was in tune and it sounded good. So
what's funny too is that, the panels, and I don't know the programs or anything, but the panels that I'm looking at, you know, you can see the audio file. It's a little kind of thing that's there. And, you know, I assume that the horizontal lines are literally notes, because when you take it, you know, you would grab it and move it up. If it's slightly flat or something, you would move it up and it would be suddenly on the same line as something else.
Right.
And I assume that means it's, you know, if it was like C minus and now it's at C, you know, like it was.
Right. Oh, absolutely. And that's what you use now. You use things like Melodyne, and Auto-Tune is similar to that as well. But you can now visualize everything on a screen, and now it's getting really crazy where you could just play a stereo file, a recording of an orchestra, and the AI will separate all the instruments on one giant screen.
Stems.
And when you touch it, you can be like, okay, that's the oboe. And then it shows you all the notes for the oboe. It's pretty amazing.
I actually used Melodyne for a while, but it actually did not grow hair, so I stopped using it. And it smelled a lot, actually.
Ask your doctor if Melodyne is right for you.
When
May cause cancer and death.
Ask your doctor.
When I was in television in the late 80s, we had a studio. We did the original infomercials for Rogaine, and I had nothing but trouble with that. You were probably the account rep for it or whatever, the creative director.
I would never rep a product that doesn't work.
Oh my God. So they're in the studio and we're doing the infomercial, and we had a heavy studio with like big cameras and the whole thing, right? Back in the day, now your iPhone is way better than those studios. But so we had the big cameras on pedestals and the whole thing. And we get into the edit room, and there was a fly on the set, and nobody saw the fly or heard the fly. So every shot had the fly like you can hear it, right?
Pence.
Right? Oh my God! Yes, the fly was moving around, and they're talking. Oh, Rogaine is great. It's good. It's natural.
You should have made it. It's the follicle fly.
Yeah.
It's the fly that buzzes around your hair.
Oh my God! The customer lost their shit. Like the advertising agency lost their shit about the fly.
How much an hour? And I got a goddamn fly. And
That's not extra. You get the fly. Thank you.
Right.
Keep that
Help me.
You're welcome.
You're like, it's up to your producer to see the fly. It's not up to our cameraman and video operator.
That same buddy of mine who, we sat and watched the guy said this meeting never happened. We were both follically challenged, I will say this. And at one point there was some product called Biogenesis, So the agency we were on, it was on like 3rd Avenue and, 45th Street or something like this. There was like a Dwayne Reed right around the corner, So we go in there and we're just like, fuck it, let's just see, So we go in there and we go like, we're kind of keeping it on the lowdown, we're kind of like, so, if you got any biogenesis? And the guy goes, yeah. We were looking over here and we're just thinking, we might want to, get some. And it's like out of a Woody Allen movie. The guy like turns to the guy behind the guy. Hey, bring up a couple of things of biogenesis, which, we're like sitting there like, and actually took it home. I used it for like a day. It was like bullshit. It didn't work. And it smelled like god awful. I was living alone at the time, but he was married. It was like, Jesus Christ. It's like, if something worked for that, honestly, do you think Elton John would have spent $500,000 on hair plug? It's like, if that fucking thing worked, it would be the greatest product in the history of mankind.
Biogenesis, Rogaine. Yep.
How do they get any data that supports?
You don't need data. You just need a good-looking person that might look like they were going bald, but now they're not anymore. And bang, you got them.
No, but there used to be.
Cy Sperling.
There used the hair club for men, of course.
Thank you.
He's not only.
Bill's catching my obscure references. Thank you.
Right, but I mean, there was a time in advertising like. Here's my current thing, and my wife is well aware of this. It's like Eggland's Best, the eggs, and they say in their commercials, the best tasting eggs. There was a period of time where you would have had to have backed that up somehow.
Oh,
like,
so you don't put this on you don't put the eggs on your head, right? Like we've
well, you
changed
put
the
some
subject.
bacon- some bacon next to them, you fucking eat them. Like,
On your
I mean,
face.
it's just in terms, I'm talking about claims. I'm talking about, saying the best tasting eggs. How do you verify that? Like,
Is that what they say? Really?
they
Yeah.
do. They say the best tasting eggs.
They've got to have some biased fucking study from some market researcher like me who
4 out of 5 dentists surveyed
Yeah,
recommend
right, exactly.
Right.
Called
But the key
Although
to
the
that
most
is-
effective one, the Pepsi challenge, that worked. It was real.
But the key to that is 4 out of 5 dentists surveyed.
Surveyed, yes.
Right.
That makes it a
There
much
were
smaller-
5 guys, right?
Yeah, I know.
5
Yeah.
dentists surveyed.
and it could have
We
been
agree.
5 paid guys.
Yeah,
That's right.
they were surveyed at the bar at the Ritz-Carlton that night, and yeah.
as
Right.
they
They had
say,
electroshock
blind
connected to their testicles. They're like, which one do you like? And they're like, wrong.
No.
Oh, baby.
Bill Nolan, play a song. Save us.
Oh, do we still do that on the show? I thought this was like,
What was this anyway?
Dennis and I are doing bass solos.
So here's
Oh,
funny.
boy.
This is an ironic coincidence. This is another song that I believe was covered by Blood, Sweat, and Tears, but it's a Tim Buckley song. Tim Buckley, for you kids out there, is Jeff Buckley's dad, and for you kids out there that are really young, Jeff Buckley was the guy who did Hallelujah. But Tim Buckley was kind of cool in his day. I once saw a show at the Fillmore East, and the lineup was Tim Buckley, Albert King, and the Jeff Beck group. And it was the Jeff Beck group with Rod Stewart, Ronnie Wood, Nicky Hopkins.
Wow,
those
that's
guys.
some show.
And Tim Buckley's voice might have been the loudest instrument in that show, but it was one of the best shows I ever saw at the Fillmore. Wow, very good show though. I lit my purest candle close to my window, hoping it would catch the eye of any vagabond who passed me by. And I waited in my fleeting house. Before he came, I felt him drawing near. And as he neared, I felt the ancient fear that he had come to wound my door and jeer. And I waited in my fleeting house. Tell me stories, I called to the hobo. Stories of cold, I smiled at the hobo. Stories of old, I knelt to the hobo. And he stood before me in my fleeting house. No, said the hobo, no more tales of time. Don't ask me now to wash away the grime. I can't come in 'cause it's too high a climb. And he walked away from my fleeting house. Then you be damned, I screamed at the hobo. Leave me alone, I wept to the hobo. Turn into stone, I knelt to the hobo. And he walked away from my fleeting house.
Yeah.
Don't ask me why, but he had a great album called Hello Goodbye, and it was
Yeah,
like,
I haven't heard that for decades. That's a cool
No,
song.
I don't know what, every once in a while I come across something and it's just like, God, that was a good
Yeah.
song.
Okay,
Encyclopedic.
I got a couple books for you.
What's that?
Is it backwards? How to Lie with Statistics.
There you go.
Is that backwards on you guys's?
I got a
No,
PhD in
it's
that.
good. It's good.
It looks good.
Who wrote it?
Something
Daryl
wrong.
Huff.
Daryl
Leon-
Huff.
Fucking liar. Who did?
It's the one dentist who didn't recommend Trident wrote that.
Yeah, really.
I got my screen flipped backwards, don't I?
All right. No, it's,
No,
you
no,
got
that-
it right.
It came out right.
My favorite one was a management book. It's called Getting Things Done.
Mhm.
Okay.
See
We
where
have,
the
we have
bookmark is?
completely different tastes in books.
See
you
where
go.
the bookmark is? I never got it done.
So I
Yeah, I
did,
didn't finish it. Yeah.
I
It's
just
so
ordered the
old,
book.
even the receipts melted off. There's nothing on the receipt.
Careful, I can read your credit card number from here.
You have the receipt in the book? Is that what
That's
you
my
use
bookmark.
as your bookmark?
I just
There
never
you
got
go.
it done.
So I'm in possession. Does anybody remember Randy Brody,
Yeah.
who used
Of
to
course.
drummer? He
Yeah.
used to come to gigs and whatever.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. He was like the drum circle guy.
Yeah, exactly. The drum circle guy
Oh,
that
okay.
very similar to Chuck when he passed away, right? And
Yeah.
I have the receipt. I don't know how I think he gave it to me. He must have given it to me. I don't think I bought something with it. I have the receipt for when his mother hired the accordion player for his bar mitzvah.
It's a mitzvah.
And the accordion player for his bar mitzvah got $150. I'm talking about like in 1904 or like
Yeah,
it was
right.
like
Yeah.
he was an older guy.
Yeah,
right?
he was.
I don't know.
He was
It
in our
Myron
zone. Yeah.
Florin. I think it was Myron Florin. I'm not sure.
Oh my God, $150 in the 50s or whatever this was, right? It was a lot of money. Like this accordion player like had it figured out.
Yeah.
And so I have that in an accordion case somewhere.
I was going to say, why do you have this receipt?
I don't know. I think he gave it to me at a gig because I play accordion. So I put
Oh,
it in.
okay. All right.
One of my accordions out in my shed has the receipt in
That's
for
funny.
that in the accordion case.
I have every receipt I ever bought anything. Every musical instrument, I have the receipt for it someplace.
There you go.
Most of them are the ink is dried off them and you can't even see them anymore.
Right. Randy Brody. He must have given me that, but $150 in the 50s, that's like $2,000. today.
Yeah, that's a really sweet gig. Yeah.
You
Well,
could buy a car for $150.
let's just admit it. Like 150 in 2024. Hey, that's a sweet gig.
Yeah. No, hey, Beavis, I get $100 a gig. You know.
Yeah, 150. Shit, that extra 50. Damn.
I got
could use
100 in college, right? So how far back can you guys remember getting $100? You
I
know,
didn't
like
play. Yeah.
that forever. I mean,
the 70s.
Since I moved out here.
well, I mean, there were times where like, the whole band would get $75 or something like
Yep.
that. I'm talking like in the 60s, where
Yep.
but in the 60s, you would have like a piece of shit high school band or junior high band, and you'd play pool parties at country clubs because it was kind of like the unknown thing.
How were you going to find a band back then? There was no internet. There was
Yeah,
barely a phone.
so-
How were you going to find a band?
No, and
Look at the penny saver, for a
Neighbor's
band.
kid
Like,
played
oh,
in the
look, a
band.
band. Let's hire them.
one of the things that was funny was looking at the Ed Sullivan show with the Beatles, and there's no question, guitar sales, February '64, bing, and then like the guitar sales
Right.
go off the charts, but no one played Beatles songs in those days. No one, you just didn't. And when
Like
you see
jazz.
when you see the solo that George Harrison plays on, forgetting like the song they started with, either Close Your Eyes. And,
Yeah, that's it. That was the first one.
When you see like
He was fucking killing. He was great.
Fucking rockabilly solo that
Yeah.
it's like Hank Marvin from the Shadows or something, but it's like I'm in my basement learning Heart of Stone by the Stones. I'm learning
Yeah.
3-chord songs. I had no wherewithal, like, what is he doing? I don't know this. But
Right.
also too, it's like they were just the impetus to make you understand that there's something cool about playing your instruments and doing that stuff. But the Animals, the Kinks, the Stones,
just seeing electric
Easy
guitar, was so
Rider, the
cool.
Rascals, like those were the bands that you aspired to because they
Right.
weren't unattainable. Like they were, and frankly, Jagger wasn't half the singer that Lennon or McCartney were.
Oh God, no,
Right.
no.
You could do Play with Fire.
And he was better frontman, one would argue, but yeah.
He was a frontman though. He wasn't playing an instrument.
No, right.
He could play
So
hard.
this is the crowd to ask this question because I saw the same thing you did, Bill, when they came out. And I watched the whole thing, both performances, including the one from Miami Beach. And how did they? It's clear the vocals are live.
Yep.
And not double. Well, they may be double, but how did the sound is too good? Is my point. How did they get that sound? Did they record those guys before the performance?
No.
Yeah, because I thought so, but then Dave, I'm with you, Dave. But then to your point, Bill, I saw Harrison's lead, and that's what made me think, no, that's too good. Because every other rock and roll band that was ever on TV for the rest of the '60s sounded like shit.
How many of those bands that were on for the rest of the '60s were together in '62 to '64 playing 5 shows a day?
That's true.
No,
I mean the sound quality itself. The quality, you can actually hear the bass. You can fucking hear it.
No, they were like, it was kind of like the first time I ever saw the Rascals at as you know, Dave, at Ekman Center in Old Greenwich. They were like men amongst boys.
Yeah.
They'd been playing the fucking discotheque circuit. They've been playing the clubs. They've been doing this stuff. But the Beatles were beyond that because they had spent years together playing literally 5 shows a night.
But I think I'm asking you a different question. Those guys were great. What was it about the Sullivan engineering and sound crew that was able to capture that sound? I mean, you listen to those recordings now, the fidelity of the recording itself is, I would argue, unmatched for several years of rock bands on TV, because usually it was horrible.
But I think that they did the same thing for Peter Gennaro and his Broadway dancers, and for Los Incas, the guys from Peru. The audio was great because I think these guys were pros, and I think they rehearsed the shit. I think they gave them sound checks that were like meaningful.
The sound is captivating. They're so good.
Well, and Sullivan,
they got Ringo's, Dave. They got Ringo's fucking slushy hi hat.
Oh,
perfectly. Yeah, it's like damn.
Well, and Sullivan put them up in Miami. Like they were supposed to go back to England, and he put them up in Miami to have them come back. They played like 2 weeks in a row or 3 weeks in a row, and it's like they were just you listen to the final live show in Candlestick Park. Like with Shea Stadium, they're playing in a fucking place where you can't hear yourself think. And listen to the board recording of Ticket to Ride.
Yeah,
like you sit there and you just go like, these guys just could fucking play, man.
They could, and the remaster of the Hollywood Bowl.
Yes,
that recording is wonderful.
No, but they shedded, like they literally 5 days a week for years.
Yeah, in Berlin doing 5 shows a night, and then going home with 10 German chicks. Yeah.
Exactly.
Make a man out of you. Yeah.
Monday morning back at the doctor's office for shots.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, there's nothing like being prepared. But the other thing is that audio engineering is not audio engineering. You've got a lot of times television type, like if you take an act on a television show, the guy who's usually mixing for a talk show or for a news broadcast or something like that, it's a disaster because the audio guy doesn't know how to record a band. Never has been there. And I used to get hired. You remember those girls that used to come to the jam, the band Dakota, those pretty young girls?
Yeah, they were really good.
They were super good, right? But they hired me for a few gigs where I'd go to like channel whatever in New Haven, and they got on TV, but they hired me to bring in a board and mics and stands and everything, and I'd run it through my board and I'd mix the sound live, and I had my reverb and a compressor, and I had all the gear that I needed to make that work. And I just said to the sound guy on the show, here's a stereo feed of, here are 2 XLRs, and a lot of
Yeah.
times they'd be like, we don't have those.
Right.
Like they're, and I'm like, well, let me see the back of your mixer, and they're like, it's a digital broadcast thing. It's in a rack in some room. We don't even know where it is. And I'm like, no. You have to get these 2 XLRs into your system somehow.
Well, I mean, to your point, Randy, it's astounding that the CBS guys on the Sullivan Show were so good at
Well,
doing
to
it, because
Ed's
when
point,
you-
they bring in their own sound man too.
because when you think about, because I don't think the Beatles would have brought in their own sound guy. I actually don't, but
But that was a variety show. That was a music show. So they
Yes.
they,
No,
they
I think it was Bill. Whoever made the point of they were doing the whatever dancers and the
right.
That house orchestra was doing that music for the dude with the spinning plates and
right now we're going to have Wayne and Schuster, Caterina Valenti, Peter Gennaro and his Broadway dancers. It's like that whole thing.
Well, and then to flip it the other way around, how many times have we seen on YouTube or wherever a 60s band on TV and they punted. They just played the record, and you can see it with the drummer doing this bullshit like whatever Keith Moon usually was on. It's clearly obvious he's aping, like playing the drums.
Mhm.
And so many shows they punted. Like, we can't do anything with this. Just lip sync to your fucking record and shut up.
Well, one of
Right.
the best shows for letting bands play was the Tom Jones show, and
Yes.
and it's funny that you say the Who, because I just saw yesterday a recording of the Who doing Pinball Wizard live on his show, and when Mooney was like, for one thing, Keith Moon was one of the most entertaining drummers of all time, one of
Absolutely.
the greatest drummers of all time.
I agree.
And I mean, and that band, I was talking to my buddy Ed Wright today, and we were talking about live albums, and everybody has their own favorites, and the Almonds at Fillmore East and Little Feat, like great album. But that fucking the Who live at Leeds,
Live at Leeds. The
that's
remastered,
as good
the
a
reissue.
live album as ever existed. And that band, who I saw them a lot. I saw them like from '66, and the last time I saw them is when they premiered Tommy at the Fillmore East.
Wow.
But I saw them like 10 times in between there. That band was as good as any band that ever was.
They were stunning.
And 3 instruments, 3 voices.
Yeah.
And freaking Keith Moon,
Yeah.
it's like, I mean, they were like punk before there was punk. They were
Way
pop
before.
there
Actually,
was pop.
I'm curious, Dave. How do you rate Keith Moon? Dave,
I'm here. He's not going
How do you
He's
rate
right, Seminelli. Take a drink.
because a lot of drummers I know don't like
Dave,
Keith
if you
Moon.
don't
They
like
think
him.
he's a piece of shit. What do you think?
No, I don't think that. He was all right.
See, he's not worshiping the way Bill and I are worshiping him.
He's not a drummer's drummer, maybe,
Oh
Well, I
yeah,
don't-
yeah.
It depends on the drummer, though. I mean, some people, that's a couple, like a guy that I don't rate high is Ginger Baker.
Yeah,
think
I agree.
he's a hack.
I was thinking of him too. Yeah.
Yeah,
You know,
he
he
definitely has skills, but I don't get the worship. I don't get the worship
No.
people have.
And sonically, he's the right guy for the thing, the double bass drum, and I get all that. But if I try to compare him to like Clive Bunker from Jethro Tull, like their original
Yeah.
drummer, that guy can swing like Mitch Mitchell, but he
No,
can
but
hit
that guy's a
hard,
motherfucker. I know
too.
what you mean. Yeah.
And he can swing. Like you want guys that can swing. And Ringo could swing.
Yes.
Ringo was, he was a swinging cat, man. The way he hit the hi hats, it's like.
He wasn't an in-your-face drummer, Ringo. He wasn't like, but he interpreted the songs. He did them weird. Like you listen to the Ringo Starr drum lines, you're like, that's not how you're supposed to play the drums.
Yeah,
And
like
nobody
Ticket
else
to
plays it.
Ride. Ticket to Ride is so stripped out. It's almost like they were.
Boom.
Yeah, his restraint. It was some artist, some contemporary artist, who put like one red dot on a canvas and got $700,000 for it. Someone's like, "How could you do that?" He's like, "You're paying me for my restraint."
Right.
That's like when I tried to explain to my mother what I did in advertising, and she was like, "Do you
Oh,
take the
boy.
pictures?" I'm like, "No." Do you, do you draw the drawing? No. Do you do this? You go, well, what do you do? And I say, "Mom, I bring a sensibility That's
Yes.
right.
sensibility.
And you get paid for that. Yeah.
Exactly right. She basically just wanted to know, why don't I wear a coat and tie? That was with her.
Yeah,
main
yeah.
thing. You know,
I was
we're not
listening
all
to a song.
Jack Lemon, Mom. You know, like we're not all Jack Lemon.
I was listening to a song today. I was listening to the Beatles to "Flying," which I guess
Yeah.
is on Magical Mystery Tour.
Yep.
And I listened to the whole record actually, and because I wanted to hear. Somebody made a Facebook comment about "Flying," and I was like, "Flying? Do I even know that song? Like, it's an odd song that they do, and
Yeah.
it's kind of a blues form, but it's got kind of a dark, weird vibe to it." And but I listened to the whole record, and I kind of love that record now. Like, I'm going to be listening to that again.
It's an interesting record. You know, it's like a funny record because, you know, Capitol, who really should have been brought to Geneva for war crimes for what they did with the Beatles catalog. You know, they basically it's kind of like some singles, and it also too was literally a companion piece to a movie that I've never seen. I've never seen Magical Mystery Tour, the movie.
Well, I've seen it.
Have you? I've never.
The
sought it
song
out.
videos are creative, especially the flying one. It has scenes that are reminiscent of the end of 2001, the landscapes with different
Right,
colors and all
right.
that shit. But the storyline is non-existent. It's
Right.
you just watch it for what we would call the music videos.
You know, like there's spaghetti.
Your mother
and-
should know, and, you know, all that shit,
Walrus, and, you know, but it's like, you know, Capitol, you know, or the Beatles maybe made this decision not to really put singles on albums. You know, they really, the majority of their singles were not on their regular albums. Occasionally they were, but
I
not
didn't know that. Yeah, it's
not always. You know, things like one-offs, like, you know, Strawberry Fields, and these, you know, a lot of them were sort of, they were on things like anthologies, or they're on things like, you know, things
Rain
like
and Paperback Writer.
yeah, you know, and then when they put out the Blue and the Red anthology stuff, that's where a lot of that stuff came out. And B-sides, you know, there were a lot of good B-sides, but
Yeah.
man, Capitol
It
Records,
was a little bit of a mishmash. In other words, there was a lot of stuff that had a lot of cool vibes and whatever, and then there was Penny Lane, you know. And
Yeah.
there was Strawberry Fields, which had
Yeah.
a lot of cool vibes. But,
Penny Lane, one of my favorite McCartney bass lines, Dennis. If you listen to, like, it's not hard, but you could have put a gun to my head. I never would have thought up that bass line.
Really come up
It's
with
so
that one,
it's
yeah.
so inventive.
yeah. I used to, you know, like I was always a McCartney guy kind of, and I remember that it didn't have like, let's all get up and dance to the music that you know.
You got it. Yeah.
But I've always been a weird Beatles skeptic. I love the Beatles. I love them. But how did those guys from Liverpool have the musical knowledge to make
Telling
those
you.
songs work the way they work? Because it's
They were
almost
geniuses, though. They were. I mean, they were. You know, whether they were savants or whatever the hell they were.
Or
And
did
they
they
found
do a demo
themselves-
in the studio and then the production team, you know, went, there's sheet music now. And, you know, I don't know. Like,
Well, I know.
it's
You
one of
know,
those like bass lines
George
are like,
Martin.
what the hell?
no, but I mean, they were.
George Martin.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, George Martin. Yes, George Martin was like great, and George Martin had and actually, you know, Abbey Road had the right pedigree, because they not only, you know, they had George Martin and they did, you know, some popular stuff, but they also did, like, you know, Spike Jones shit, you know, like weird novelty stuff. So when they, you know, when somebody would come to you and say, I want the guitar to sound like it's 6 feet underwater, and, you know, whether they're saying that to George Martin or whether they're saying it to, you know, one of the other, you know, what's his name, the guy who really did a lot of their production stuff.
The engineer, yeah.
Yeah, you know, I mean, whoever they're talking to, there was like some reception to that. And, you know, that venue, the Abbey Road, it started like all freaking recording studios with guys in lab coats. You know, like it started with guys in lab coats who were sitting.
Doing classical.
Yeah,
things.
and when the needle got to red, you were like, all right, that's wrong. You know, like, but there, you know, like the famous album that Mayall did with Clapton, the Beano album, the John Mayall and the Blues Breakers. You know, you have a bunch of guys in lab coats are there, and suddenly Clapton is taking a Marshall stack, putting it to 11, and playing it like that. And, like, you know, the glasses are fogging up. You know, the gears are bursting, and they're sort of like, what the fuck is this? And yet that's the greatest guitar sound he maybe ever had in his career. Like that. I mean, that it's so raw and it's so fucking great. But this was brand new world. Like nobody knew this stuff.
Mhm.
And it was different than what they were doing like in LA. It was different than like what Phil Spector was doing. In they had more grit in Britain, like they were kind of doing different stuff there than we were doing here.
I saw McCartney talking about when they were recording Obla Di Obla Da, right? And the other day, I don't it was on a meme that came up, whatever, and he was talking about how they were in, I don't know, they were in India, I guess they were in India, and there was a guy that they used to party with. I'm pretty sure it was India. He might have said Africa, but I'm pretty sure they were in
India. They were there because when they're doing the White Album, they're there with the.
You mean the recording, or who came up with Obla Di Obla Da?
Yeah, no. So apparently there was this guy
that was a Jamaican cab driver, apparently.
Right, and he like Obla Di Obla Da man, right? Like
yes, it was McCartney was complaining about something, and the guy was basically doing the Italian. Hey, what are you gonna do?
Right, exactly. And
he's like, Obla Di Obla Da. Well, life goes on, bro.
Right, so
you sing bro, but bro.
So they're in the studio. They're in the studio, and they've worked it out, and they whatever, and they can't figure out a beginning for it. They just can't figure out the beginning.
Yeah, I've heard this.
Apparently, I always thought it was Paul McCartney that played the piano on that, and John Lennon walks in. And they went, we can't figure out. We're doing this song, Obla Di, and apparently Lennon hated the song or whatever.
Yes.
He's like, all right, we'll do the freaking song. And they go, how do we start it? He goes over to the piano and he goes, dun 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 dun. Like that's it.
And apparently that was out of frustrations. They were dicking around with all these beginnings, and he kind of went to the piano. Was like, just start the fucking song, like dun 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 dun. Now go. Right. And they're like, pretty good opener. Okay.
What's beautiful about that is that like. There was a certain period of time in the 60s in recording where that's what it was about. Like some guy comes up and says, fuck you, and blah, 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 and it's like, that's fucking brilliant. And you keep it, and there it is. Or, Mary Clayton's voice cracks, you keep it because that's what makes it
to
great.
This day.
Denny Doherty comes in and say, I saw her again, and you keep it because it's just fucking great. And it's like, it's not like the kind of stuff that I was doing today, where it's like taking each syllable and doing something with it, and not that there's anything wrong with that, but it's different,
Yeah, stuff happened in the studio and the tape was running and you happened to get it, and now it's world famous. It's
the Mary Clayton voice crack is immortal.
And if you've seen the movie 20 Feet from Stardom, the whole story behind it.
Great movie.
Call at I don't know, 2:00 in the morning or something. Her
like
hair's
that,
in curlers. She goes to the fucking studio and makes magic like that. And it's just I don't know. There's a case where you want to talk about a producer. I don't know if his name is trumpeted enough, but Jimmy Miller was one of the greatest producers in the history of music. I mean, he did the best Stones albums. He did the best Traffic albums. He did Give Me Some Lovin'. He did, all the early Spencer Davis stuff. This guy, he just had like the feel. I believe he played the drums on Honky Tonk Woman. He was a drummer. It
might have been bongos. He played a lot of percussion instruments.
Well, he was a drummer by trade, but I think he played the drums possibly on Honky Tonk Woman. I could be wrong, but I think that's true, And he's
Jimmy Miller. Yeah, absolutely.
And he did like, the second Traffic album, You Can All Join In, Pearly Queen, like Who Knows What Tomorrow Will Bring. I mean, he's got feel, man,
And that reminded me of something. I haven't seen you guys since Billy. Since the Billy News.
Foster, yeah, that's absolutely right.
No, I had a gig. I forget. Each successive show, I had something going on. I know you guys obviously talked about stuff, but at Billy Fest, it reminded me of one very quick, hopefully funny story. At Billy Fest, where Bill Nolan and I broke our long-standing tradition of never being in the same place at the same time.
It's contractual.
Not the same person.
And we actually got to talk to each other in person. I forget who I was playing behind, but then Shelley came up and she said, would you play behind me? I'm going to do a couple of songs, but one of them was Give Me Shelter. And so she said, and I forget, somebody was going to sing with her. And she if you know Shelley, she's a sweetheart, but she's very, kind of straight laced, very, very formal. And she just looks, she's working it out with someone. She goes, "I'll do rape and murder." I'm like,
I want a
"Excuse me?"
clip
She's
of
like,
that.
Yeah, she's like, "That didn't sound right. I'm going to do rape and murder."
Awesome. Go for it.
Yeah, exactly.
Randy, it's always great to see you in the flesh, and I consider you more than a friend. I consider you a business associate. Yes, thank you.
Yes, that was a
That's
fun
funny.
night, actually.
Yeah,
That
Dave
was a great-
Robinson, when I met him, I came up behind him he came to a gig of mine in Greenwich at the place that used to make McDuff's in Greenwich. He came.
Oh,
like,
I played there. I
from
played
the
there.
airport, like he came to the show and he was hanging out at the show, and I came up behind him like I was the waiter, and we'd never met before. Like I wasn't
Yeah.
sure we'd never met before, but then later he said, "Oh yeah, I moved to California in 1977." I went, "Oh, I was 12, like or whatever, 13." And so
Jesus.
I came up behind him, whatever, and he stood up and he went, "Oh, I didn't know you'd be so tall. Like on the show,
Yeah.
I look shorter, obviously." It's funny. You never know, right? And then he said, "I'm going to the Duck on Saturday night. I'm going to meet
Yeah.
Randy Stone." I said, "Fasten your fucking seatbelts."
Oh, on the height thing, yeah.
No, you know people more and more. We're going to know
Right.
people from a
Yeah,
screen.
Little
yeah.
squares, yeah.
You don't
Yeah, I
know.
rarely stand up, but when I do, yeah.
You don't
I'm the
know.
shortest one on the screen.
There you
Right.
go.
I'm 5'10".
I saw some old picture of some old band with you, Randy, and Jesus Christ, you were towering over everyone.
Oh, yeah, I think I
Yeah.
yeah, they're not the two tallest guys either, by the way. But yeah.
Right. Yeah.
That was a seminal punk band. We did a record at Scoville Studios in Norwalk in 1980. And we pressed 500 copies of them. We sent them out to radio stations. And we got some airplane stuff. And we actually got in the Comprehensive Encyclopedia of Punk and New Wave
All right.
by listing. And now what's very funny about it is there's only 500 copies, so it's a collector's item. So it shows up every now and then on eBay. And the last time, I don't have one. And I tried to get it, and I got outbid by some guy in Japan, and he paid like $400 for it.
Wow.
I know.
So you know what you do? Here's what you do. Here's what you do.
What?
You take your $400 that you have saved up for a rainy day.
Yes.
You buy a copy, or you buy as many copies as you can. And
Yes.
you autograph it and you sell it for $800.
It's very
There you
funny
go.
you say that. The guy who the guitarist in the band he asked the guy, I'm just curious why. He's like, "I'm a collector of punk and new wave." And Hank, the guy who wrote the song, he's like, "Well, if you want to autograph it for you," the guy's like, "No, that would ruin the value. No, I don't. I don't. You cut the value in half."
So the
That's
moral of
all
Randy's story is if
That's
you press 400 records, you keep 200 for yourself.
Apparently, and Dennis, and wait 40 years, and then
Wait
you make a
40
killing.
years.
And you-
Yeah. It's a good
Yeah.
investment.
That's right. All right, Nolan, do one more song. We're going to be wrapping it up soon.
Do
I'd
it.
like to hear one more for you.
Okay.
Do it. Do
I have
it.
two things I'm looking at.
All right.
One is
What
an
are they?
obscure
Don't we
James
all?
Taylor song that I would dedicate to my friend David Robinson. The other one is an obscure Todd Rundgren song that I would just throw out there. But any votes? We have 4 people here. Anybody?
Do them both.
Exactly.
Yeah, totally.
Exactly. Do them both. Do them both, Bill.
All right, this is a James Taylor song, and I send this out to my friend Dave Robinson, who it's been so great to see you, Dave,
Yes,
like,
it has.
during this stay, and you're still here for a little while longer, right? Or
Yes, I am. We're all on the East Coast, and I'm here until the end of the month.
is your
I-
family here as well?
Say it again.
Is your family here as well?
Yes, my family's here. I'm a little quiet tonight because I'm glad I'm here. My mom suffered a stroke,
Oh,
Oh,
sorry to hear
I'm
that.
sorry to hear that.
and she's in the Greenwich Hospital. But
Oh, yikes.
yeah, it's gonna be all right. It's gonna be all right.
Yeah, how bad, Dave?
What you got to say?
Well, her left arm, hard to lift up.
No.
She can only lift it up a little bit, but she is not paralyzed in the face or nothing.
Okay.
Okay.
So she's got to go through, obviously,
Yeah.
physical
Okay.
therapy, right?
And is she
Yeah.
And hopefully,
she
and
lives
hopefully
she lives here though, right?
yeah. She lives. Yes, she lives here.
Well,
Hopefully,
then
she'll be.
I don't know if this makes it better or worse, but you're here, and that's a good thing.
Yeah,
Oh no,
no
no,
kidding.
it is a good thing. No, it's a good thing. The shit went down, and I was with her to follow the ambulance to take her to the hospital.
Wow.
Mhm.
Yikes.
So
I'm
it's
sorry to hear
all.
that.
No, I know. I got you. No, I got you guys. But yeah. It's
Love
glad
to you
be.
and your family, man. So
Yeah, man.
yeah,
No. I'm glad to be here with you all.
okay. So much for your moment of prayer. God's not at home. There's no there, lost in the stars. That's what you are, left here on your own. You can only hope to live on this earth. Here it is, for all it's worth. Nothing else awaits you, no second birth, no starry sky. Oh, for an unbeliever like you, there's not much you can do. We'll burn you away, though I hate to see you surrender. You need to surrender. We must find you a way to look up from your life. 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 There's a river running under your feet, under the house, under the street, straight from the heart, ancient and sweet, on its way back home. Even in the middle of your sadness, this everyday madness, the ongoing game. Even when you can't find a reason, there's still gotta be a reason. You don't need to name it. Look up from your life. Look up from your life. Look on up from your life. Look up from your life. Even for a minute, you find yourself in it, to wait by the stream, to drop out of your dream. Look up from your life. Look up from your life. Look up from your life. Look up from your line. Ooh.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you, Bill.
No kidding.
Well, David. Yeah, there's a hell of a lot of James Taylor songs a lot of people don't get a chance to hear because I don't know. There's some sort of sense that it all ended after Fire and Rain or something.
Right.
He's still at it, right?
It just went downhill from there.
He is still at, like he's a little diminished vocally, like a little bit, like it's not quite because he really he had really one of the great voices. I think it's a complete sort of miscalculation of him to label him as like some sort of soft folk rocky thing. He's got like that great. He's got that great bloodline from Carolina and Martha's Vineyard, and it's a purely American kind of sound, but he's very sharp, like as a vocalist in the studio. And I know people who have worked with him, and they all say that he's, he really can fucking sing his ass off, and he's on pitch and he does all that stuff. But he's a national treasure, much like the five of us.
There you go.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just not in America.
The Mount Rushmore of, I don't know what.
The Mount Rushmore of something.
All right. To the other one, Dolman.
This is a very obscure Todd Rundgren song that I just sort of liked because I like the lyrics because it's about it's about a breakup, but it's sort of all couched in language about art, and it's kind of funny.
Hear this.
And it's called "There Goes My Inspiration." Say pain can bring out the artist's best, but since you've been gone, I just can't care less. Common sense doesn't realize it can hurt so bad. Every day I sit in my garret, staring at the floor, but my heart isn't in it anymore. There goes my inspiration, my reason for creation. There goes my inspiration, my reason for it said when you said goodbye. Me and Gauguin used to party down. I was hung in the Louvre, I was Renoir's pal. Vincent van Gogh used to joke with me, now they don't come around. It's all over town that the master's lost his touch. I'm so lost, I can hardly hold a brush. There goes my inspiration, my reason for creation. There goes my inspiration, my heart is when you said goodbye. And now my palette is a sorry mix of gray and brown. And all the other art lovers lay awake, 'cause I'm bringing them down. I wander the left bank every day, searching for my muse in sad cafes. Peddle my oils to the galleries, now they turn me down. Everybody says I'm the master of technique, but my style and the sentiment is weak. There goes my inspiration, my reason for creation. There goes my inspiration, I've let it fly away when you said goodbye. I just love the words to that.
It's cool.
That's a fun song. Yeah.
That is cool. I haven't heard that forever too.
You know, are you familiar with that song?
I've heard it. Yeah, I forget what it's
great.
on. What's it on?
Oh man, it's on. It might. I mean, it's a Utopia song. I think it's not.
Yeah.
And I think it's on. It might be on the album. It's called actually Utopia. But
Utopia might be. Yeah, yeah.
but I just love that. I love the whole thing. It's all over town. The master's lost his touch. I'm so lost I can hardly hold a brush.
Yeah, hung at the Louvre.
yeah. Partied with Renoir.
Yeah, I am.
Phenomenally good. Well, good to see you, gentlemen. That's it for Jam TV, show
Ed.
175.
Ed,
Were you plugging gigs now? What do you got?
hell yeah! Come
Go
on.
ahead. Do it.
Saturday night, Holly McCreary, the Toon Squad at Joey C's Boathouse in Stratford.
Fantastic.
That was great
I
the
just
other.
wanna say-
It was great the other night, though. I didn't get to go to the show, but what did I see? Oh, you guys did Peter Gabriel, In My Eyes,
Yeah, yeah.
and I
Yeah.
mean, like I was gonna say, but it just seemed like stupid. I was just gonna say nobody plays that. Like
It's actually, I think that's true. I'm not aware of anybody else playing it,
no, nobody plays that, and
and I'm certainly not aware of anybody that sings it like her.
well, and when she goes into like the sort of like you saw Endure kind of
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
at the end,
In the beginning, yeah, she opens up with that. Yeah,
it's like Africa by way of Birmingham. Like it's friggin' awesome, man.
yeah.
And because I can't yell Freebird to her anymore, I yelled.
Oh, you can.
I know. So I yelled
You-
Psycho Killer, and she goes, "We'll do that
can,
one."
no, you get the pass for being a fellow Southerner. You're cool.
Freebird.
Super good. All right, gentlemen. That's it for Jam TV. Great to see you. That was show 175. It's crazy. I just figured out we're doing our 200th show in August. 200 shows.
Plan now to be there.
88. Way
You're
way
going
over 88. Crazy. All right. Good to see you
But
guys.
Is there a chance, like in August, that there'll actually be live music somewhere? Who knows?
Who knows? It could happen. The pandemic might be over someday,
Wow.
All right, you guys. I'll see you later. Next week on
Love
Jam
you guys.
That was quite a show.
We're out of drop now.
Oh, wow. That was something else. Wait a minute. Hold on, I'll get you something.